credit union. I went there, and then the credit union paid for the next 2 summers that I went. That was Athens, Georgia. I met a lot of nice people through the credit union movement, and I became the vice president of the Manager Association of Alabama Credit Unions. I was voted to serve on the Alabama Corporate Board, and this is where credit unions invest their money that they don't have loaned out. And then I was our chapter. I served on all of the board, every position, and I was also president of it. I became well known throughout Alabama. Working, I got to travel a lot. I got to work with the senators and the representatives of Alabama. Went to Washington several times. Talked with them person to person, and just learned so much about credit union movement and how to do it. And with God's help, we survived. We changed our name to Avondale, was the Avondale Credit Union, just for their plant employees. Then we changed the name to, when Shaw's bought the credit union, bought the plant from Avondale, we changed the name to Stevenson Federal Credit Union. I had, when I left in '89 of April, I had, well, really it was July, I had 3.5 employees, and I had just designed a credit union that was going to be moved over in another shopping mall, and we had our vault. We had teller stations. I had full service. I had places for safety deposit box, but that and credit cards is all that I like, being the complete full service. And now then they have that, and they're growing. They're doing a good job. But the federal did say that most small credit unions, at a time when things change, that they would probably have to merge with a large credit union, never survived. And most of them have, but they stated that Stevenson Federal Credit Union would be one that probably would not. And so they haven't. And I've had many people to call me and comment on, they were so proud that you stood by it and learned what you did and did the things you did for us to have a credit union. But most people don't know this, but a lot of people do, and it doesn't really matter because God knows all about it. And when I left the credit union, I really didn't think I would work. And a credit union called me out of Huntsville and said, "Faye, you do so good," and said, "Would you please come and do marketing for us?" And I promised to work 3 days a week for the summer. And I did that for them to help them.
During her tenure at the credit union, a few of Faye's accomplishments and awards were the Frederick W. Raffeson Award, the highest recognition given by the Credit Union National Association; 3 consecutive merit awards from the Alabama Credit Union League, given on basis of such measurements as growth in assets and membership; held every position of the Northeast Alabama chapter of credit unions; first vice president of Alabama Managers Association of Credit Unions for 6 years; board member of Alabama Corporation of Credit Unions for 7 years; ACU League and Credit Union National Association Consumer Lending Certificate Program; ACU League and Credit Union National Association Member Service Staff Training Certificate from the STAR Program; Certification Notary Training Seminar; University of Alabama SRCUS Management School graduate; University of Georgia Southeastern Regional Credit Union Management graduate; Jackson County, first place winner for 2 years for Christmas designing.
For years we'd go over to her house for Christmas, and everything would be just immaculate and beautiful Christmas tree, and it was very, I still think about it today.
While Faye was busy with her work at the credit union, she did not forget her children or her community. She was a member of the highly recognized Mothers Club of Stevenson, Alabama for 15 years. The Stevenson Mothers Club creates and works on projects that help the town of Stevenson. During that time, she served as president for 2 terms. During her terms as president of the Mothers Club, she worked diligently, even in the face of resistance, to create funding for the creation of a swimming pool and playground equipment for the city of Stevenson. Eventually, the Mothers Club also built a concession stand, which Faye directed. Another accomplishment during her time as president was making sure that Stevenson School had air conditioning. For years, the students suffered in overheated rooms. Faye knew they could learn better if they were not battling the heat. She was also chairman for the creation of the Mothers Club Cookbook.
Faye grew into an individual that liked to help people. She was involved, a hard worker, a lot of different organizations, and a very smart individual. And you couldn't tell her she couldn't do something because she would do it.
One of Faye's fondest memories of her Mothers Club was being chosen Mother of the Year in 1975. This accolade was voted on by the membership and is considered their highest honor. Faye was chosen because of her dedication, work, and service to her community.
You've made substantial contributions when you held positions such as president of Stevenson Mothers Club for 2 years. What projects did your club do?
Well, the year that we've done a lot of projects as the club, but the 2 years I was voted to be, or asked to be, the president 2 years. I believe it maybe was 76 and 77. I was Mother of the Year in 1975. And that was an honor. I didn't feel like I deserved it, but it was a great honor. We needed a swimming pool in Stevenson for the children and other people. And it was brought up. No, we couldn't do that. We talked to the city council. No, some of them so against it, said it would never work out. I said, well, why? We're good. Stevenson's a good place, good community, and if it worked for other communities, why not here? So what we did, I know that I can remember one that Gene McQuarrie and there was someone else, we would meet with the city council when they met, and we told them what we wanted. And after, yagging back and forth and throwing it around, we got them to help us. We started applying for grants and help to get a swimming pool, and decided where it would be. And Mothers Club set aside, I believe we had $1,000 that we set aside to buy shrubbery, flowers and things to dress it up and make it look better once we got it. And we tried to follow through to see that was done. But of course the city council had, the big project to do, but we felt like we got it started and, people's interest in it. And the first pavilion that the park had, the Mothers Club paid for that. Then I was over the concession stand, and that is a project. I had to get the popcorn for all the ball games and candy, candy will melt, and the Cokes and all. I had to meet at a certain time at the park for all of these vendors. And I had to get help to work in the concession stands, and we took the money and bought playground equipment. And Mothers Club is still in operation, and I'm sure they're doing things all the time. And we did those things. And then I had the bright idea that the teachers and children were talking about how hot they had summer school. We had 2 schools in Stevenson then, and they were just burning up. So I said, well, why could we not get the schools air conditioned? Well, everybody thought I was crazy. But we began to talk about it, and there's some wonderful people that were mothers in the Mothers Club, and they began to agree that this was good. I invited the 2 principals of the schools in Stevenson, and I invited the superintendent of Jackson County, and some of the bankers came. And we discussed it and talked about it, and we followed through with this and seen it got off the ground, the club did. And you know, I got all the rooms air conditioned, the schools. But now, the Mothers Club didn't do it. We got things started. We turned it over to the PTO or PTA. And each room and the teachers worked hard, raised money, had fundraisers and things, and got their air conditioners. But I believe it was going to cost $33,000 for us to do it, and it got done.
While serving her community by participating in the Mothers Club, Faye also served her community by starting the very first welcome wagon for Stevenson and directing walkathons for the Leukemia Society of America of Jackson County, Alabama, and director of the March of Dimes for 2 years.
Then I organized the welcome wagon. When Meade came in, they needed places to build a house, and I lotted off a few acres of my property and gave the state a road to get into, and I had lots, had them surveyed, and the things that had to be done to get this, my water checked, and had everything fixed. And then I sold lots to some of them that were moving in to for me, and then I organized the welcome wagon, and the town joined in and joined it so I could have things and brochures to give them and tell them about their businesses and where things were located. And I visited a few and got it off going, and then I trained a lady to take it. I enjoy doing.
While participating in the Mothers Club, Faye was also very involved in her children's education. She served for 12 years as a room mother and was an active member of the Stevenson Band Boosters and Band Booster Officer for 9 years. She also served as a chaperone on band trips and football and basketball games. In addition, Faye was an officer of the Auxiliary Club of Scottsboro, Alabama for 9 years. Faye attended the ball games to both watch her daughter play in the band and her son play football. Faye's service to young people extended to the Girl Scouts as a scout leader in Stevenson for several years.
I think Faye has become a very intelligent, hard-working person. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. She's raised 2 children, held down a job, sent one to college, and she has been through a lot. And in my book, she's the best. And I'm gonna cry if I keep talking.
After raising her son and daughter and serving as president of Stevenson Federal Credit Union for 26 years, Faye retired from the credit union. She remained a member of the board of directors for Mountain View Lake Mental Health of Marshall and Jackson County, Alabama, where she has served for 21 years and held every position on the board. She remains a board member today. This facility serves and provides citizens of Jackson and Marshall counties with mental health services they might not financially have access to under normal circumstances. After being retired for a couple of years, Faye decided retirement was not for her and accepted a position at the Cloverdale Manor Nursing Home in Scottsboro, Alabama, as the activities director. Faye has been in this position since 2001, absolutely loves her job. Faye is responsible for all aspects of activities for residents. Faye takes pride in going out of her way to make sure the residents' needs are met. For example, she made arrangements for a book written by one of the residents to be published. She saw how important it was to that resident and wanted to make that dream come true.
My mother had to come to the nursing home, and I was down here almost daily. And I did her clothes, and I helped feed her, and I saw so many things that I thought that would be good if I could do it. But I knew I couldn't do it if I didn't work. So after about a year that Mother had been here, I asked the administrator about working, doing something, maybe reading to the residents. And she had me to fill out an application, and I was hired the 5th of March, 10 years ago, this past March. And I worked through the activities, and about 2 weeks after I worked, she called me in and told me she wanted me to hire several people to do what I did, to work part-time, like 4 days a week. And I was in the process of doing all this when Mr. Limley, who is co-owner now, became the administrator. And I wound up being the activity director, and I have my certificate for that. And I enjoy it fully. It's different from financing. Even though we have a budget now, I'm working on that, and I love figures. I mean, I really, truly, I miss not doing that. But I love it. The people love you, and if you just grin at them, they love you for that. And you know, in credit union, excuse me, people doesn't care if they get the amount of money that they want, who lets them have it. It doesn't really bother them, you know, if you want a loan and you get it or whatever. Just so they're serviced and it's fast and, you know, they get what they think they should or need or want. But here, if you speak to someone or pat them on the shoulder, they love you to death for it. And there's so much here that so many people that need attention and love. And I thank God for this job, and I plan on staying as long as my boss will let me. I know I'm turning 75, but I hope to be here 10 more years if possible. And I really enjoy my work, and I look forward to coming, and thank God that I have a job.
During inspections, the state has consistently given Faye's Activities Department the highest marks. Faye serves as the treasurer of Alabama Nursing Home's Region 2 chapter and is on the HOSA committee from Epcot School.